All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2015 MotoOption Supercross Series presented by Fly Racing. Live here on Start Your Systems TV. You may hear me reaching into the fridge. I'm grabbing a beer, not for myself, but for my wonderful, sexy girlfriend, as she just pointed it out. So, don't worry, I've got a beer on the desk myself. We've got 250 West main event action coming up here in just a moment. Right now, we've got the parade lap out on the track, though. 250 West. So this is the only title left to be decided right here and now. 15 laps, 22 riders. Dade Honeywell on your screen is the points leader by 11 points over this man, number 18, Matt Burkeen. So if Burkeen can win and Honeywell finishes, I believe, 8th or worse tonight, and Matt Burkeen wins the championship. Any other scenario, though, pretty much Honeywell will win the championship. But here we go. It is time to go main event racing for the first time tonight. There are 4 main events tonight, and this is going to be some good racing. I can assure you that. Let's take a look at Matt Cromie here on the 26th on the middle of your screen. 250 West main event is underway in Las Vegas. Oh, Honeywell ends up going down with Cromie. Not sure where Burkeen ended up in all this. Looks like he's up near the front as Connor Peavy is going to take the whole shot, and then there is some chaos behind there. Wilcox and Burkeen go down. Oh, and then they're still stacking up. Wilcox is getting landed on top of Burkeen, and Honeywell kind of in the mix there. Honeywell is still just trying to get through all this. You can see Honeywell right there on the 30. Not out of the clear yet, and he's down again. Looks like he's running 17th right now, is Honeywell. He's got Matt Cromie and Daniel Batchelot and Ryan Kessler behind him. There are more riders down. Honeywell just able to sneak by. So we'll have to keep an eye on Honeywell. More riders down. This is chaos on this opening lap. Take a look at where Matt Burkeen is. He is running in the 4th place position right now, as Connor Peavy, the 843 ride, leads away. I had his skins last week, but suddenly I don't. I'm not sure what that deal is all about. How about Robert Wilson? Wanted a shout out. He asked me for a shout out on Twitter earlier today, running Daniel Mills's bike with Daniel Mills right behind him, not on Daniel Mills's bike. But Robert Wilson is running in P2, so there's your shout out, Monty. Daniel Mills and Matt Burkeen running side by side. Ideally, this is a good situation for Burkeen to be in. He's got most of his, not necessarily teammates, but friends nearby. You can see they're all running that Aaron gear. So, Wilson and Mills could play some blocking here if and when Honeywell reaches the front, but Honeywell's still struggling. He's down in 11th spot. He's got to get himself up inside of the top 8, I believe. Let me just do a quick calculation of that. Yeah, Honeywell needs to be actually 7th or better, because he would get the nod, I think, if they tie on points. So if he's 7th or better and Burkeen wins this thing, championship is his. Burkeen now runs in 2nd, but he's got those buffers behind him. As I said, Peavy has really stretched out his lead, though, already. Look at, he's got about 6 or 7 seconds over Burkeen on lap 3. And there's Wilson and Mills. Perhaps the buffer boys tonight. Nicot, Donovan, Goodfellow, and Honeywell. So Honeywell runs in the 9th position. Or rather the 8th position. So he's right behind the position that he needs to be in, which is Chase Donovan on the Verb Moto team. Shout out to Donovan, who streamed with me earlier this year in Santa Clara, running a very strong race. Mills and Wilson still locked together as EMF superstar Victor Nicot runs right behind them. The EMC Concept Graph rider is a EMF Racing winner. Not the champion, but has won a couple main events this year in the 250 class. Is very, very quick. He's trying to get around these guys, but he ends up going down and sends Mills sideways right in front of Monty Wilson. Mills ends up just cutting the track and going along with it. Oh, we've got more riders piling in. Honeywell has actually lost some spots. Gains a couple of them back right there. So Honeywell runs in the 8th spot still. He's now behind Saulnier, Poppy, Dunavant, and Mills and Wilson still together. Burkeen still running in 2nd, but he has definitely caught Connor Peavy significantly. Very nice job, though, by Connor Peavy. I wish I had his skins because I know he would like to see himself running up front with some nice fresh skins on. But I have absolutely nothing on him except his 6D helmet and his rims. So, unfortunately, I don't have his Flowtech skins for whatever reason. But he's about to become under attack from Matt Burkeen here. So Peavy has led 4 laps of the 15-lap main event. He might be on what would be the last lap he leads here. Burkeen gets to the back of him. Burkeen has been fast since he last raced. Won today's EMF main event as well, and here he goes. He's going to try an inside move down the inside. Peavy checks up, doesn't want anything to do with it, and Burkeen now takes over the race lead. So Matt Burkeen puts himself in the right position. However, Dade Honeywell has since moved up into 6th. He's got Pappy and Tiberino right behind him, but he is in the position to win the title as they run. Just barely. He would be by 1 point as they run right now. So that's just to give you an idea how close this championship could be. Donovan is still running a very strong 5th place position. Honeywell bearing down on him. Honeywell really cannot afford to go down as Pappy, Tiberino, Alfrey, Saulnier, Nicot all right here. Chromie coming up from the back as well. Minimal mistakes. Oh, there goes Daniel Mills out of 3rd. Or 4th as Monty was actually 3rd, and then he gets back right in front of, that was Tiberino that was trying to get by him on the right side. Mills was all out of shape in the whoops and comes across, collects Clay Alfrey. So a bunch of riders are able to get back by him there. Now Honeywell over the back of Dunavant. This would be for 4th. Dunavant shuts the door, though, really on the gas tonight. Burkeen trying to get as far away out front as he can. Here comes Honeywell. Nope. Donovan able to shut the door. Donovan is still running 4th. Look at Wilson. That is a lapped rider that he just got by, but he's running in 3rd. Oh, Honeywell, nice around the outside. Just missed it on our screen. Moves into 4th place. So really, he just needs this smooth, calculated ride right here. Stay where he is, and he will be the champion. Donovan challenging him back is going to get back by him even, so back into 4th for Chase Donovan. A little out of shape in the whoops, but collects it nicely. He's going to come across and block Honeywell, who goes off the track. He's going to lose a spot to Tiberino at least. Maybe Poppy. Nope, Poppy not able to get the pass done. Honeywell remains in 6th. Again, if Honeywell finishes 7th or better, he is in the position to clinch the title here. So he could afford to lose that spot to Poppy. They've got a long ways back to Nicot, then Mills right there. Honeywell doesn't want to be in this very tricky position, though, that's for sure. Closes right up on Tiberino. They do some dualies off of the triple. Tiberino hanging it in tight. Honeywell not going to try anything yet. This is the best battle to watch on the track as Donovan. Oh no! Donovan went down somehow, some way. Pappy missed Honeywell, but Honeywell's just getting up, and here comes Victor Nicot. He is not going to get by him, but this is right here. This is championship implications. Here comes Daniel Mills down the inside as Honeywell parks and puts Nicot on the ground. Then we got riders down. Pappy is down with a lapper. Tiberino has gotten long gone, so Honeywell all the way back up into 5th after riding that borderline of not being in the position he needs to be. But now he's got to be careful because Matt Cromie, one of the faster riders on the track, would be behind him next. Then Pappy still dealing with some lappers. Mills is in there. Wilcox is coming from way back. Donovan was one of the riders that was down. He was down at the end of the whoops. I just saw a glimpse of him. And then Alfrey coming through. Nicot has lost a lot of positions as well. Oh, looks like Mills slid out on the edge of the sweeper. Meanwhile, Matt Burkeen is just trying not to think about it as he pulls away at the front. Looks like Tiberino just got by Wilson. Not going to hang on to the spot, though, as he messed up the rhythm section. So Wilson back into 3rd. Here's Honeywell running in 5th. He is 7 or so seconds up on Cromie, who's got Pappy right behind him. So Honeywell cannot not afford to go down, or else he would have those guys closing right up on him. A little mistake in the whoops. And we go back, see Cromie, who's really on it right now. Of course, Cromie entered last season's West main event with a chance of the title. Actually was in a position to win the title when he hole shot the main event, but unfortunately went down on the wall, lost a lot of positions. That title eventually went to the 330 machine of Hunter Root, who ended up being this year's 450 champion. Now the 30 machine of Dade Honeywell, trying to stamp his name on the championship ballot as well. Connor PV still runs in 2nd as Burkeen is really stretched his lead out. Wilson, Tiberino, Honeywell, Cromie. And then Pappy is slipped back. Wilcox and Goodfellow are both down, so Donovan's going to pick up another spot. Saulnier back here, Alfrey. There's a good battle going on here for 3rd. Tiberino all over the back of Wilson, who said he wasn't going to ride very well tonight, but so far has proved that he's every bit as competitive as he doesn't think he is. Holding on to the final podium spot over Tiberino. Doing a great job of doing so right now. Tiberino trying to get a run. Different rhythm sections end up being about the same speed at the end. They've got Connor Peavy kind of fading back to them just a little bit. So this could quickly become a 3-way battle for 2nd. Tiberino, nice inside move. Very clean. Looked like he just got on the gas early coming out of that inside corner. So Tiberino moves into 3rd in the final podium position. Peavy still runs 2nd, but making a little bit of mistakes here. Matt Burkeen is pretty much checked out at this point. I think, yeah, he's already back in the stadium. Peavy is a corner away from leaving the stadium, so that's just an idea of how big the gap is. He's got to go through all the sweepers and all that nonsense before he comes back in. Honeywell running a solid 5th. That's exactly what he needs to clinch tonight's 250 West Championship. The guys that could challenge him and knock him off that pedestal, Wilcox would be the one that needs to get by him to push him down to 8th. Wilcox right now runs about 15 or so seconds behind Dade Honeywell. You can see Honeywell is actually closing up a little bit on Robert Wilson, who's since lost touch with Tiberino. Tiberino on the charge right now is almost caught up to Connor Peavy for second. So this is really quite the ride for Connor Peavy, who earlier in the year was just thrilled to make main events. Now he's looking at landing himself on the podium. There's riders down at the end of the rhythm here. Nobody of near importance as Burkeen is still pretty checked out, but here comes Tiberino really on the move right here. Inside line, not gonna work just yet. In fact, they come together in the air. Very fortunate that both riders ride out of that. Coming out of the stadium through Thunder Alley, then the back sleeper where the start line is here. And flying back in through Thunder Alley into the stadium. See what line works better here. They both take the same line. PV, Tiberino. Oh! Just saw that in the background. Wilson and Honeywell get together, and Wilson's going to lose the spot as he is not able to double triple. So Honeywell now moves up into fourth. Wilson and Chromie are right there, though, so they could slide him back to sixth very easily. Poppy nowhere near where he needs to be, though. Wilcox down there. So Donovan, who was running a very strong race early, has slipped all the way to 19th as I just saw him scroll across the top screen. Bummer for Chase Donovan, but a very nice ride early on. Looks like Monty Wilson and Matt Chromie having a little dispute here, and Chromie able to get by. Running the split fire skins, but says he's a part of Tagger Designs with that hashtag apparently. This battle for second still looking really good. Very interesting riding style for both riders. Tiberino likes to lean over the front of the bike very far. PV does a little bit of the same, but also remains quite neutral in the corners. Lots of bike humps going on. Tiberino to the inside with the quad, moves himself into second place. Matt Burkeen has 2 laps to go. I'm sure at this point someone's told him that Honeywell is in a sufficient enough spot to clinch the title, but almost positive Burkeen wants to go out on top of this championship with a race victory, whether or not he wins the championship. Honeywell is trying to close up on these guys to move himself perhaps into second place. And Chromie, who's pretty much followed him through the pack, is up in fifth. Wilson has made a mistake. He's got Pappy closing in, as is Wilcox. Those guys are right there now. So 3-rider battle for sixth. Wilson able to get away. Oh, and then Pappy gets landed on by Wilcox. Pappy made a mess of the rhythm section, got off of rhythm. Wilcox already committed, looked like he just had nowhere to go, landed right on top of him. So Wilcox able to close up pretty quickly here on Wilson. That would be for sixth. Honeywell has since slipped back to fifth as Chromie has gotten by. PV still in the final podium position. Tiberino and the white flag is now out for your race leader, Matt Burkeen. So Burkeen, as I said in the race at Santa Clara 2 weeks ago, that Burkeen won, probably kicking himself that he didn't perform better early on in the season when Honeywell and Dennis Fjellberg were going back and forth with race victories. Burkeen fared well, but had a couple tough races. And in the end, that looks like those races will cost him a championship. Burkeen going to go 3 for 3 to end the season as he won at Petco Park. He won in Levi Stadium 2 weeks ago. Looks like he's going to win in Sam Boyd Stadium. And of course, he won the 450 main event last week even. So Burkeen really on a tear of late, and he's going to end the season in style as he comes down and wins the 250 East main event, or West main event. I'm all confused, but 250 West main event winner Matt Burkeen, his 3rd race win of the season. Tiberino looks to lock up second, PV third. Honeywell has now moved back up to fourth. Plenty of time to coast this thing home. Must be said, though, great rides from Tiberino and PV to land themselves on the podium tonight as Tiberino comes across. PV's going to come across, but here he is, folks, down the line. A fourth place will do it. Dade Honeywell is your 2015 250 West Supercross champion as he comes home fourth tonight in Las Vegas. He will wrap up that title over Matt Burkeen by 4 points in the end. Cromie comes across the line in fifth. Wilson ends up in sixth. Then we got Pappy, who runs in the seventh spot, will pick up seventh. Wilcox ends up eighth. And the final man on the lead lap in tonight's 250 West main event is a 29 of Clay Alfrey, so he's going to pick up ninth. Goodfellow, Nicot, Mills, Saulnier, Kessler, Bachelet, Baker, Diniz, Dunavant, Wells, Usyk, Winter, and Thorson is how they will finish tonight. So Burkeen ends up on top. Honeywell wins the championship. All right, folks, I am back. We've got the 250 East main event coming up, and there's no Kyle Robb in this one tonight. He said he's not racing, so the 1E is not here. He wrapped up the title last week in East Rutherford. So we could have a different winner tonight, which would be exciting. A couple guys willing to make a bid at that. Looks like we may not have a couple of the heavier hitters. But either way, we're about to go 15 laps, 22 riders. Let's see if we can't find someone right here in the middle that might get a good start. Ivan Medina gets pretty good starts, not riding his TM Factor racing bike tonight. But here we go, folks. It is 250 East main event time in Las Vegas. Gate is down, and the 78 machine of Carson Tickle gets a monster start up the inside to take the lead through turn one. Carson Tickle my pickle. Gonna lead them down, but not gonna get the whole shot as Goodfellow comes nose-wheeling into him. Pretty desperate attempt at a move right there. So Copeland leads from three, probably of the heaviest hitters tonight. Spinelli, Seabolt, and Hinners, and then Schiabra riding Rob's bike. I assume Schiabra is now part of the motorsport.com team. He is ridden for FamMX all season long, but since his Been dropped from the team. Here we go. Tony Spinelli tries to go for the lead, jumps off the track, jumps back on the track, and ruins Dylan Copeland, but takes over the race lead. Now we got every single heavy hitter of this East Division running 1 through 5, except for Kyle Robb. So Spinelli leads, Seabolt second, Stanley third, Schiabro fourth, and Hinters in fifth. Any one of these guys, I believe, could win tonight's main event fairly easily. Although it's going to be really tough with them all locked together, that's for sure. Spinelli might be under some scrutiny from Race Factory Gaming. Might incur a penalty, though, from jumping the bales to take over the race lead. That is not a legal maneuver, and I'm sure Copeland will protest that. Either way, these guys all close together. Looks like Hinters just made a move to get himself into fourth around Jeremy Schiabro. We had a taste of the East-West shootout, if you will, earlier today as Jeremy Hinters and Matt Burkeen battled to the line in the EMF 250 main event. Now these guys are all locked together. And of course, every single one of these guys currently in a transfer spot to go to the East-West shootout. But they definitely want to win tonight's 250 East main event, which again is a point scoring race. So they'd pick up 25 points towards a career or national number. Oh, Stanley, a mistake, loses 2 positions, and then Hinters came up short on the triple out, and somehow Seabolt was able to bounce off of him and not go down. Hinters ended up going down off the bike, so he loses some time to this front 4 group now. Seabolt on the back of Schiabro, and then Stanley now trying to go after Spinelli. Quick check in the chat while we're at it. I know we're already 3 laps in, but if you guys can hear me and see me okay, please give me an okay or something in the chat to let me know. I don't want to be muted or anything during any of these races. So Stanley all over the back of Tony Spinelli for the race lead. 2 winners on the season. In fact, except for Joaquim Noren and Kyle Robb, I believe these are the only 2 other winners on the season. So Noren, of course, won the opening round at Dallas. And then Kyle Robb won about everything else except for Spinelli and Stanley, who each won a main event. Spinelli won Atlanta won, and Brady Stanley won Daytona. So Kyle Robb won everything else on the season, which was 4 main event wins. This is round 8 of the championship right here. That would be 5 main events win. This is round 9 of the championship. Thank you, The Real 371 and BL143 for letting me know in chat that I'm all good. This battle for the lead is a close one. I don't know how Stanley has not clipped the back of Tony Spinelli yet. He's gotten very close, but has not done so. Meanwhile, Schiabro and Seabolt have Hinters closing back up on them. That would be the battle for third. Of course, those guys are hoping these guys get into each other for the lead, and suddenly they're in a nice spot to perhaps win themselves a main event. None of the guys that are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th have won a main event this year, let alone ever, but they have been close. 2 guys at the front of the field have both won main events this year, and both of them were the first time that they have ever done that. Stanley to the inside, not trying to force the issue, but trying to take a different line. Still stays close. Whoa, Spinelli into the bales. A little out of shape. Now Stanley is right there. Man, I mean, they are nose to tail, literally. Stanley's going to take a cut under maneuver and drag race down into the stadium. Look at Spinelli, comes all the way over to cut him down. And Stanley thinks wisely and checks up. Spinelli really backed the rear end of that bike into that corner. Now Stanley makes a mistake. He slides out on the tabletop. So here comes Schiabro from 3rd. Is not going to be close enough to make a pass, though. Stanley gets going. He's still running smooth in 2nd. Hinters has since lost a lot of time. He must have had a mistake or gone down. He still runs in the 5th spot, though. Then we go back to Dylan Copeland, the early race leader that was cleaned out by Tony Spinelli. He runs in 6th. Carson Tickle, your whole shot winner, or near whole shot winner, did not get the official whole shot, runs in 7th. Owen Hillman is 8th, and Adam Holm is in 9th, and the final transfer to the East-West shootout from tonight's 250 East main event. Chase Cassell is 10th. Ivan Medina 11th. Mora, Wright, Bull, Whitley, Sanders, Lewis, Gasparian, Like, Chad Green, Tanner Rogers, Michael Wheeler. So Wheeler dead last right now. Spinelli with that gap in hand now, able to get away from Stanley just a little bit. Stanley taking a very smooth line through the sweeper, able to drive down out of Thunder Alley a little bit cleaner. Schiavro trying to keep things close in 3rd. All these guys are running very consistent lap times. Let's go on board with Jeremy Siebold here in that 4th spot as he tries to reel in Jeremy Schiavro in 3rd. You can see Jeremy Hinters on that green machine going the other direction. He runs in 5th. Ooh, little mistake for Schiavro, who's running Race Carlin's gear, Kyle Robb's bike on that motorsport.com team. Siebold is right there. Oh, mistake for Siebold. Gonna lose a little bit of time, not a ton. Got lappers in the way up here. That would be Chad Green getting out of the way. So Siebold still trying to go after Schiavro, and then Hinters back here in 5th. Well, it looks like we've got a battle for the lead perhaps brewing, so let's go on board with Brady Stanley on the 22 ride. Looks to be the fastest man on the track. In fact, he is at a 1:12.9. Nobody even close. Nobody in the 113s even right now. So we'll go back up and take a look at Stanley trying to run down Spinelli. Oh, Spinelli was down after the finish, and there it goes. Race lead is now in Brady Stanley's hands. He's going to actually pull away a little bit as Spinelli missed the rhythm section. Riders down up here. Oh, Stanley just able to miss him. Spinelli's going to get a great drive in the whoops. Might take the lead back here. Look at that. Down the left side of the whoops into the race lead. Cuts Stanley off, who goes off the track. No, Stanley cut back underneath and took the race lead. I'm missing all the action because of the onboards. So suddenly, Spinelli has dropped back to 4th, and Stanley has the race lead. Here comes Schiavro up the inside. I don't know what Stanley's doing there. Drag race back into the stadium. Schiavro in the lead. Gets a little frisky on the ski jump. He's trying to win his first career main event right here. He's going to go side by side with Stanley, and Stanley able to get the quad out, going to get the lead back just like that. So Stanley still holding on. And we go back, we got Schiavro coming through, Siebold, and then Spinelli's right here. And we wait just a little bit more, and Jeremy Hinters comes over the Supercross triple in 5th place. So these guys are pretty checked from the rest of the field right now. Oh, Stanley, a mistake, has since lost the lead to Schiavro. We're circulating lap 9, so we have 6 laps to go. Schiavro trying to come through for his first career main event win here. Stanley with a little bobble. Looks like it puts Siebold on the ground, actually, so here comes Hinters suddenly right in the mix from 5th. He's going to be right on the back of Siebold, who runs in 4th. Or no, actually, these guys are 3rd and 4th now, as Spinelli has since made a mistake and dropped back to 5th. So Hinters runs 4th, Siebold is 3rd. Stanley now sits in 2nd. Still trying to run down your race leader, Jeremy Schiavro. So quite a few lead changes happening here in the last couple laps. Oh, Schiavro. Short on the triple. Stanley suddenly right there. Oh, Schiavro short on the finish too. Might be feeling the pressure. And short on the triple in, and down he goes. So Brady Stanley to the race lead just like that. He's going to have a nice little gap too. These guys all battling over third. Spinelli, Seabold, Hinners locked in a duel. Look at Seabolt trying an inside move there. Almost ended up side by side with Spinelli. Now going to try a far inside. Gets into the tough block, so nothing doing there. Hinder's just lurking, hoping those guys get together. Then we go back to Carson Tickle, who's now moved up into the 6th spot. Adam Holm is 7th. Copeland runs in 8th, and Ivan Medina is now 9th, which is, of course, the final transfer to the East-West Shootout. All others will head to the 250 East-West Shootout LCQ as Hillman goes down from 10th. So we'll head back up to the more important front of the pack battles going on. Stanley, holy moly, there are a lot of lappers in front of him right now. Able to get by one of them, and then a bunch of them go down, so 4 of them now behind him. It's a 217 of Edward Mora, I believe. He put a lap down, and then Mora picked up 3 spots in the process. So let's take a look at the scroll across the top of your screen to see how far he's lapped up to. Chandler Rogers just put another lap down, I believe. So Mora is actually on the 588 ride. He runs in 13th. So I'm not sure who's on the 217 bike. But Stanley running very smooth right now. Whoa, Chandler Rogers comes back on the track right behind Jeremy Schiavro. Not a whole lot of battling going on anymore. Everybody's kind of separated themselves. Ivan Medina is on the back of Dylan Copeland for 8th. It's interesting to hear these guys really not revving these 250 Fs out. Try to use throttle control to their advantage on this slippery track. Battle for 4th on just a little bit here, as Spinelli is just ahead of Jeremy Hinners. Seabold has gotten away just a little bit. Now Schiavro is dealing with all of those lappers that Brady Stanley had gone through earlier on. Stanley is circulating on lap 12, so next time by the flag stand will be 3 laps to go, 12 laps in the books. Look at Hinners, he's going to try to cut under. He's got a really quick line going here. He's going to end up side by side with Spinelli. Just blows by him. What a move by Jeremy Hinners to get himself into 4th, and then Spinelli comes sliding up the inside. Nice of Spinelli not to just launch him off the berm. Could have done so, but would not have been necessarily very clean racing. Now he's going to have an inside move on Hinners, who's getting kind of screwed by Chandler Rogers there. Dualies. Hinners and Spinelli throwing it down in 4th and 5th. Oh, that was August Sanders doing some flips in the background. Now Hinners throws a little interesting little upwards whip right behind Spinelli. These guys still duking it out. Seabolt not that far in front of them, I suppose. These guys come through the whoops behind him. 14-second lead for Brady Stanley. Then Schiavro has another 6 seconds over Seabolt. Spinelli and Hinners disputing 4th right here on your screen. Spinelli again, another mistake. Look at Hinners, he's going to swing wide here. Spinelli's trying to block the line off from him, but Hinners gets a brilliant drive coming down the straightaway. not going to have the same kind of drive this time, but still ends up going quite well. Right behind Spinelli into the corner here. Different rhythms again in play. Hinters does not make it work very well though. A couple mistakes in the middle of it. Oh, Stanley looks like he may have had a fall. 2 laps to go, but the lead is now down to 4.7 seconds, so indeed he must have had a fall 10 seconds exactly that he lost. So got to be careful here. Schiabro's still not too far behind him. So interesting to hear Stanley's bike not full tapped. You can hear Schiabro going by there much more wide open. Hinters is up into 4th. Spinelli must have gone down. Tickle another 10 seconds back of Spinelli. Has not ran a very bad race, but isn't very close. Adam Holmes still runs in 7th. Medina is 8th, and Copeland is 9th. So Lewis trying to close up and spoil Copeland's run to get himself into the final spot for the 250 East-West shootout. It is the white flag though for Brady Stanley. Schiabro not close enough to do anything about it, and Hinters still running in 4th over Spinelli. So we'll just take a look at Brady Stanley here on the final lap, make sure he brings this thing home smoothly. So it was a good year for Stanley. It looks like he's going to end up 2nd place in the points overall. And with tonight's race victory, if he can hang on here, it'll be 2 race wins, the first 2 of Stanley's career. So not a bad season at all, but I'm sure he would have liked to stand on top of the podium. But he will do that tonight as he wins the 250 East main event here in Las Vegas. 2 wins on the season. Schiabro comes just short of his first career victory, finishing up in 2nd, and Siebel rounds out the podium. Hinters is going to slide through, come home 4th. Spinelli, after that early race incident with Dylan Copeland and leading for about 6 laps, ends up in 5th. Carson Tickle likely going to end up 6th, as Medina is pretty far back, so we'll just wait and see who transfers out of this at this point. Adam Holm, not sure what's going on. Adam has disappeared off of our screen. Has not disconnected, but just disappeared. So unofficially right now, it looks as though Copeland, Medina, and Lewis will be going through unless Hillman can say anything about that. Medina comes through in 8th. Oh, nope. Holm suddenly reappears in 9th. And yeah, it looks like that's where they will finish. Yep, cuts are in. Holm going through. Lewis has to go to the LCQ, which we'll see in a few moments. That's going to do it for the main events here. We'll be back on the other side of this short break with 450 semis and 250 East-West LCQ and 450 LCQ action. So stay tuned for that. You're watching the 2015 MotoOption Supercross Series presented by Fly Racing.